Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Good day to you and happy Sunday. Today we reflect on the theme, what do you want me to do for you? The gospel account of the healing of the blind man, Bartimaeus, is a kind of small-scale portrait of how growth in the light of faith takes place. Mark's vivid narrative of the healing of Bartimaeus is full of details. The healing is precisely located not only at Jericho, but at the precise moment when Jesus and his disciples are leaving the city to go to Jerusalem. The blind man is seated by the wayside. He is quick to seize the opportunity of Jesus' passing by, crying out for help. He refuses to be silenced by the crowd. Without a moment's hesitation, he casts off his garment and comes to Jesus to be healed. And once given sight, he eagerly follows Jesus. All these details give us the confidence that we are reading an eyewitness account. The healing encounter of Jesus with Bartimaeus is instructive for our own walk with God. In a 2012 homily, Pope Benedict XVI reflected, Bartimaeus represents one who has lost the light and knows it, but has not lost hope. He knows how to seize the opportunity to encounter Jesus, and he entrusts himself to him for healing. Indeed, when he hears that the Master is passing along the road, he cries out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And he repeats it even louder. And when Jesus calls him and asks what he wants from him, he replies, Master, let me receive my sight. Bartimaeus represents one aware of his pain and crying out to the Lord, confident of being healed. In the encounter with Jesus, live with faith. Bartimaeus regains the light he has lost, and with it the fullness of his dignity. He gets back onto his feet and resumes the journey, which from that moment has a guide, Jesus, and a path, the same that Jesus is traveling. Bartimaeus was blind, but the crowd was deaf to his problems. Are you too deaf to the cries of your brothers and sisters? St. Mark beautifully describes Bartimaeus' excitement when Jesus finally calls for him. He threw aside his cloak, sprang up, and came to Jesus. There's an energy in his response that powerfully exemplifies the eagerness that should be the hallmark of our discipleship. When the Lord calls, we must be ready to respond. And because of his faith and willingness to act, Jesus rewards the blind man by not only restoring his physical sight, but by empowering him to live out his faith in the community of disciples. This biblical passage has something particular to say to us as we grapple with the urgent need to proclaim Christ anew in places where the light of faith has been weakened, in places where the fire of God is more like smoldering cinders, crying out to be stirred up, so that they can become a living flame that gives light and heat to the whole house. In baptism, our eyes are opened and we receive the light of Christ and the light of faith. However, even for the baptized, willful ignorance, pride, jealousy, envy, and sin can cause spiritual blindness. When at last the blind man has chance to approach Jesus, we are told, so throwing off his cloak, he jumped and went to Jesus. The blind man does not need his cloak anymore. He goes out to Jesus in symbolic nakedness in exchange for a garment of salvation and a robe of righteousness. The blind man does not need his coins anymore because Jesus will give him the inexhaustible treasures of healing mercies and the hidden riches of secret places. What is the cloak that we shelter ourselves in? What is that cloak that we find so difficult to let go? What is that cloak that prevents me or you from being totally available to Jesus? Is it the cloak of fear? Is it the cloak of timidity? Is it the cloak of self-judgment? The invitation for us this Sunday is to humbly reflect on the ways we might be spiritually blind by asking ourselves what habits, attitudes, and ideologies hold us back from becoming the disciples that Jesus is calling us to be. We need daily to put God's will before our desires, His truth before our opinions, and the joy of His presence before the unlawful pleasures of this world. Bartimaeus' encounter with Jesus led to renunciation, healing, and discipleship. This is a pattern for us. This is a model for us. This is an example that should inspire our own Christian life as well. Jesus alone calls, transforming the lives of those who follow Him, helping raise up the fallen, bringing God's light to the darkness of our lives. So many people, like Bartimaeus, are looking for light in their lives. They are looking for true love. They are looking for companionship. They are looking for friendship. Will you be the answer to their prayers? And like Bartimaeus, who amid that large crowd called out to Jesus alone, they too seek life, but often find only empty promises and few people who really care. Will you be the one that cares? Today, God invites us, the church invites us to listen carefully to the voice of Jesus asking us, asking you, what do you want me to do for you? That is a question Jesus is putting before you today. What do you want me to do for you?